For those of us who are working in headphones in our studios, what if you had a solution that would allow you to compensate for those, get flat response out of your headphones, and even go beyond that and simulate working in a real acoustical studio environment? We are looking at the IK Multimedia Arc On-Ear system. Now, you may be familiar with the Arc Studio system. I've got a couple of those in my studio at home, and I really love working with them. Basically, they flatten out the room response and let you hear a flat representation of your audio through your monitors. And Arc On-Ear does the same thing with headphones. They've analyzed 200 different types of headphones. You can select those, and basically it has curves that are built in that compensate for the frequency response of those phones to give you flat response. Flat response is ideal because when you're working with flat response, nothing is boosted, nothing is cut artificially. So when you mix into a flat source, at that point you can take it outside. It's transportable to other systems for playback, and it should sound correct on those systems. So this can be a really big benefit to you. As you can see, the Arc On-Ear is a very simple device, very compact, comes with a nice carrying case. It can connect either by USB, or you can actually hook it up with an 1/8" audio connection as well. There's a power switch here. Now we have 3 buttons on the front panel, and those work in conjunction with the app that runs inside your computer. And once you have your settings made inside the Arc On-Ear software, you no longer need the app. Everything will be right here inside the hardware. Just plug it in and go. But let's jump over and take a quick look at the app, because that'll show us more of what's possible with Arc On-Ear. This is our Arc On-Ear software. It gives us everything we need right here in this very simple, easy to operate user interface. So basically we can turn calibration on and off. We can set the amount of calibration. So you can dial that down to a warmer sound, to a brighter sound, whatever you might like. If it's set here to 0, then you're basically flat. We can also phase align if you like. And again, we can turn that calibration on and off so that you can compare. You need to select your headphone model. And as I mentioned, there are about 200 different types of headphones. Just click here and you can select among all those. Lots and lots of different types. All the industry standards are there. Tons of different choices. So just pick the one that you have. Once you've picked your headphones, you can close out, and then you can see your headphone model here. I've got Shure SRH 1540s here. I've also tested this with a couple of different types of focals and more as well. It works great with all those different types of headphones. Once you've got the headphone model selected, the calibration will be loaded up. You can again adjust that if you like, but then we can also look at studio simulation. Now, one of the things with headphones is those headphone cups are right on your ears, and so panning tends to get exaggerated. We hear things really wide, hard, right and left, which just isn't natural to the way that you hear them on studio monitors, like here in my studio. So we have a studio simulation control here, and this allows you to set basically the angle at which the left and the right are coming to you at. So we can make that wider, we can make that narrower. I've been finding it works pretty well, somewhere between 100% down to about 75%. Seems to work pretty well for getting that imaging in front of you and off to the sides without it being wrapped all the way to the sides of your head. It's a much more natural experience. Now, in addition to simulating that aspect of things, we can also simulate speakers. And there are about 100 different types of speakers that you can select here as well. We've got everything from sound bars and Bluetooth speakers to smartphones to all different types of studio monitors. For example, right now, I've got these coaxial 3-ways selected. And when we select those, we can turn those on and off. So you can audition with and without. You can turn the studio simulation on and off. But an important factor is that you can assign the function button, which is this FN button here, to turn things on and off as you select, to control different aspects of the Arc process. So you can turn the virtual speaker on and off, you can mono, you can dim, you can mute, and so on. So from the hardware, we can press that function button and turn the virtual speakers on and off. That's how I've got it set right now, but you could choose any of those options. We can also choose to bypass or enable the studio simulation. And in fact, we can bypass the calibration as well and hear just the natural headphones coming through. Now, once you have your speaker selected, you can also see the frequency response, basically the calibration that's being applied. So the blue curve here is the pre-signal before it's been calibrated. The white line here, of course, is flat, and then our orange line here indicates the post or the calibrated signal. You can see how much flatter that is. If we turn that off, this is what we'd be hearing normally through our headphones with that bottom end boost, a little bit of high end boost and so on. But if we bring the virtual speaker in, it flattens right out because it's been calibrated for that. Now we also can adjust that calibration curve. We have 3 different EQ bands that allow us to do that. You can see the settings here for the parametric settings. They can either be shelving or peaking bands. Just raise and lower those if you like, and it will all be remembered. Now you can save all this as presets as well. You can see that over here. So if you have different sets of headphones, you have different calibrations you want to use, different sets of speakers you want to use, you can set up presets and easily move among those right here. That's really all it takes to set up Arc On Ear and to have it calibrate your headphones for flat response, and also to simulate that studio positioning, that studio imaging, and also to emulate virtual speakers as well. Again, controllable with the 3 buttons here. We've got our volume control. Now this does have a battery inside, and it'll operate for about 5 hours before you need to charge it up. It charges up by USB, or if you're connected to a computer, as I am here, it'll be powered from there. Super handy device, really allows you to have confidence in your monitoring when you're working in headphones. Definitely check this one out at sweetwater.com or contact your Sweetwater sales engineer for full information.